right? So the government doesn't enforce the law, or people find a way around the law because they want to make more money, right? If they try to put clean air in, it costs more money. So a lot of it illegal in the industry, they're doing it illegally. And a lot of them, they have to put this extra equipment. So at the factories, they have to put in extra equipment. So when the pollution is coming out of the factory, they catch it, and that costs more money. All right, so they don't want to spend that money. So weak environmental laws. Yep, good. Next. All right, here's a couple of examples. Two places where air pollution is very bad, as China and India.
They got warm in there.
And the problem is because China and India, they've got some of the very big cities, and they've got either they've got weak laws or the laws are not enforced. And so here are some examples. You can see in China, almost 250,000 people die due to particulate matter. And then here, some more data. It says every year, 350 to 500,000 people die due to outdoor pollution in China. That's a lot of people. In India, 32 million people reduce longevity of their lives. So their lives are shortened because of the bad air pollution. They're living shorter lives. No city in India, no city at all in India meets the current World Health Organization safety standards. There's not one city in India that meets the safety regulations for air pollution. Next, please. All right, so what are some of the effects of the air pollution? If we know that air pollution is going into the air, what are some of the problems that we're going to have? So short-term effects and long-term effects. So short-term effects, it can exacerbate asthma. Everyone knows asthma is a condition for your lungs, and it can make breathing difficult. Well, this can make your asthma worse, right? It can make your asthma worse. It can give you coughs, wheezing, and shortness of breath. Long-term effects, it can contribute to strokes. It can contribute to lung cancer. It can give you respiratory diseases and cardiovascular diseases. All very serious. Next. Conclusion. Things that we can do to reduce air pollution. 1, we need to control the emissions going into the air. We need to treat, right? We need to have, and if we want to control these, we need to have proper treatment at the sources, at the factories, at the power plants, right? You need to treat them to get the chemicals out of the exhaust. Now, another thing we can do, is that we can use less electricity. We can buy fewer things, right? So if you're using less electricity, then there's less exhaust. If you're buying fewer things, then the factory is not making as much pollution, all right? So these are things that you can do to help reduce air pollution. Also, you should try to limit how much wood you're burning, because wood is natural, right? It's putting natural things into the air, but those particulates still can contribute to air pollution. It can be harmful. And one of the most important ideas is people need to follow the regulations. Many countries have rules and regulations, and they need to be enforced. If they're not enforced, then the air pollution will continue. The problem will not be fixed. All right, that is all I have. These are my references. Thank you very much for listening to me today. And I'd like to introduce our last presenter in our group, Dorothy. Please, Dorothy.
Thanks for the perfect Hello everyone, my name is Dorothy, and today I'm going to present my PowerPoint. Can a transition to renewable energy fully mitigate the global warming crisis? So, no, not yet. So before I start my presentation on my PowerPoint, I would like to talk about the energy, which like Rob presented before, the air pollution is getting worse and worse in our world. But I would like to ask you a question. What's the root of the question? My answer would be the usage of the energy type. So generally, we all know that we are using the fossil fuel as the main energy source we use in daily life in all countries in our world. So through the usage of the fossil fuel, which not only cause the air pollution problem, but more seriously, the global warming crisis has been generated and become worse and worse. So my PowerPoint is going to talk about the overconsumption of fossil fuels, and then I'm going to present a kind of solution, which is the Paris Agreement, and which the Paris Agreement leads to a transition of a transition of energy, and then I'm going to drop out my conclusion based on my topic. So as we can see, the draft I found from a website called Our World in Data, it presents the huge amount we use in the consumption of fossil fuels from 4 countries. You can see the highest amount, which reached 80,000 of kilowatt per hour, which generated from the fossil fuel in United States, and also Australia is the second highest country which used the fossil fuel to generate the electricity from the world, and this is the data from 2000 to 2010. So as we can see, we consume this huge amount of fossil fuels in the past 10 years. And as we can see from this data, the question has been generated and become a very serious and unignorable crisis. Next, please. As Rob said, the air pollution. As Rob said, the air pollution has become a very serious problem in our world. But from the root of the question, which fossil fuels generated most of the air pollution, which we call CO2 emission. And here's a graph I found from the website, which shows us the CO2 emission generated from several kinds of fossil fuels, which is coal, oil, natural gas, and methane. Next, please. So, as a solution of the serious crisis, here an agreement called the Paris Agreement come to our. No, not yet. So here's an agreement called Paris Agreement has been signed and into force in 2016 in order to stop the serious global warming crisis, and which the Paris Agreement itself is also it also represents a sign of energy transition, which the goal of the Paris Agreement also leads to an energy transition which mitigates the global warming crisis and even fully stop the global warming crisis by limiting the global warming to 1.5 degree. And here is another graph. No, please. Here's another graph.
Sorry.
Not yet. Yeah, thank you. Here we can see there's another graph I found from the website, which shows us the past almost 35 years, the energy transition which happened here in Australia. As we can see from the date of the first enforce of Paris Agreement in 2016 to 2021, the percentage of renewable energy in the whole paragraph has been there is a huge growth of the renewable energy in a total percentage, which from 10% to almost 30% from 2016 to 2021. And as we can see from the graph, there are about 4% increase of renewable energy per year. And from 2021, it's almost been 1/3 of the market has been replaced from the renewable energy. So from the data I present here, we can see it only takes 17 years for renewable energies to fully replace the traditional fossil fuels, and which the end of the Paris Agreement is the end of the century. So before that day, we could solve the problem by this kind of energy transition. And here is another graph that I found from the website, which shows the CO2 emission incredibly decreased within Australia. As we can see, the same thing happened here from 2015, the days of the Paris Agreement in force, and to 2020. And it shows the CO2 emission is gradually coming down through the Paris Agreement, and is also a significant result after the enforce of the Paris Agreement. So, as a conclusion, I can say that an energy transition could fully mitigate the global warming crisis by these graphs, but with the joining of our all together to choose a more sustainable energy type, like renewable energy, for example, wind, solar power, and for us, let's choose a more sustainable lifestyle and to join the energy transition to help our world, to help mitigate the global warming crisis and to help our world become better. Thank you for your listening. Is this my reference?
Thank you. Are there any questions?
Yeah, any questions?
Do you have any question? I'm very sorry for pressing the button. Very bad.
It's okay.
That's all right.
Yeah.
No question.
Yeah, just a question to ask Tan.
Why he
Is when Rob replaced you, when Rob
Yeah, now
replaced you,
we can
is
change this like
what
there.
Rob say is exactly what you mean.
Did I get anything wrong, Todd? Did I get something wrong, or was it okay?
No, it's all right.
Okay, right.
You would have done a better job?
No, you done a better job than mine.
All right, thank you, everyone.
you.
Okay, thank you.
Ada ni